Essential Sewing Guild. And I know we all love our decorative stitches and we can do so many things with them, but don't you just hate it when you're stitching a long row of decorative stitches and then something goes wrong? Either the machine refuses to go forward or backward because of a thread jam, or the thread breaks, and now we have to figure out how to line up those decorative stitches. Well, today I want to share with you the techniques that I use when this happens to me. So I have some stitches stitched out here, and I'm going to show you the exact process I use to get this lined up again. So here's my project, and I have a test piece. Now, whenever possible, you want to test using the same stabilizer and the same fabric and everything so you can get the same results. So I'm going to just look at this, and I see that I end it kind of over on the left hand side, but I need to know how this stitch forms. So that's what my test is for. So I'm just going to stitch and I'm going to watch it. If you have the pattern start, that's really a great thing to do, is go back to your pattern start. So it goes in, now it's tying off, that's fine. So here we go. So left, left, right, right, right. Okay, so I'm just trying to memorize this pattern. So it goes off to the left 2 times, back once, then off to the right 2 times. To the left 2 times, back once. Okay, so I have to get this in my head here. Left, back, left, back, right, back. Okay, so that was the first one to the left. This is the second one to the left, and now it's going to go back. And I want to stop right here. So I figured out my stopping point, and let me explain to you where it is. It is on the back from the right hand side. So I'm going to go left, left, back, right, right. And now I know that when I put my new piece of fabric in here, the needle is going to sink into the backup one on the right hand side. So let me get my project here, and let's see. So we did right, and it's going to the backup one, which is going to be right here. So I want to sink my needle right here, and then it should come down, and it would exactly trace over those 2 stitches. So that's my goal. Let's see how we do. I'd like to have my tail here because I'm going to work that in later so it doesn't ravel apart. Okay, so it's lined up where I think I need to be, and it should trace over those 2, which it did. It goes back. Okay, now I can just continue to stitch. And that's far enough. Let's take this out and see how we did. Here's my thread, so you can see that I lined up right there, and no one would ever know that you had an issue. I would then take this excess thread, put it in a needle, bring it to the back side, and tie that off so that it would not unravel from that point. Now I want to show you how to work with a satin stitch, kind of doing the same thing. So here I have a satin stitch, a decorative stitch that has a satin stitch feel to it. So on this one, it gets narrow, then wide, then narrow, then narrow, then wide, then narrow. This one actually did happen to break right here, but even if it hadn't, I would have ripped back out to about this point because it's a beautiful line-up point. So just to review the technique, what I do is I always like to make sure I know my stitch. So I have my test piece of fabric here, and I'm just going to stitch, and I'm going to watch it when it gets down to that narrow point. And I'm going to see, okay, yep, they're right in the middle. It does 2 stitches, 3, 4, and then it starts going wide again. So I know for this that I have 4 stitches that it stitches in place. So I'm going to go to that center stitch there, and this would be the first one. and I'll do the first one on here, that's fine. Okay, now I know that I need to line this one up in the exact center and that I should have 3 stitches to go on that. So I move this to the side, I line this up exactly on that center part, and it should stitch in place a few times. Now I'm going to watch my needle because I'm going to show you something else. So I have 1, 2, and what I want to do now is I want to just pull this thread to the top so it will be locked in place under the stitch, and then I just continue to stitch, and you can leave that thread underneath for as long as you want. I could stop and take it out, but there's really no need to. Alright, so let's look and see how that lined up. Now, I don't have my thread there, so let me look at the back because it lined up really, really well. It looks like it was on this one right here that we lined up, and it lined up just perfect. So I hope that these tips on how to line up your decorative stitching will give you the confidence to put these stitches on lots of projects because they're really beautiful, and with just a few minutes of time and practice, I'm sure you're going to be able to get yours to line up just as well as I lined mine up. From my sewing machine to yours, happy creating.